Out there. Welcome to Tech Bytes. We are back. I'm really excited because we actually have a lot going on this week. We're going to do back to back Twitch sessions. We're going to get this chatbot not only working, but we're going to show you how to build a CI/CD pipeline with this chatbot. So, very excited. I'm going to have a guest on tomorrow, one of my AWS coworkers, one of a fantastic coworker who is going to work with me, and we're going to talk about how you build the CI/CD pipeline for this bot. We're going to finish. We are going to finish it today, and then we're going to talk about tomorrow how we do this. So I'm going to give you guys a little time to get settled, and I am ready to jump into the code. I hope you guys are as well. So I'm going to transition my screen over to the code. Love the code. The code is your friend. All right, so you guys should see the code up right now. And so where we left off, if you remember correctly, if you guys either joined me live last time or you've been watching the recordings, okay, note, if you missed any of these and you want to catch up, two things you should know. One, the code is out there on GitHub. Definitely feel free to take what you want from it. So every time we change something, I post it live on the GitHub. And two, the code, the videos, not the code, the videos are actually out there live for you guys to watch. So no worries, you missed a couple. They're recorded. We're here for you. Please join. We can't wait. One more thing before I get started. Nikki is on. She's moderating. So anything you miss from me, guess what? She can cover it, but we will be watching you guys, and I'm so excited to be back and talking with you all. All right, enough chatter. Let's get to the code. Well, okay, so where we last dropped off, if you remember correctly, we were really working on getting the Lex service integrated into our chatbot, into our ASP.NET code. We got all that working. We have our Cognito authenticating our Lexbox service. We're off to the races. Now we just need to tie that service, the functioning, to our controller and make sure our view also has it. So with that, let's go first. Let's go to our Lex service, just so you can remember that. So we have our Lex service. Let me scroll up. Running, as you can see, we are using DI, having that dynamically come in from the options class. So we're initializing Lex. That's why we're doing our Cognito credentials. We get Lex initialized, and then once messages come in and out of Lex, we're posting that via text. Later on, we'll do it via voice as well. Don't worry, I didn't forget you. And we're going to now get this baby to work, right? Okay, so with that, what we haven't done is we've put absolutely no code, as you can see, into our controller. And, that's kind of problematic given we kind of need the controller to make all of this work. So what we're going to do now is let's actually add the code in the controller so that we can tie the service every time you type something in the web page in the the Twitch the chat bot. Can't talk today. That we will actually have it up and running and posting to Lex. Right? So there's a couple of functions we're going to need to be able to do that. The first one that we're going to need obviously is the controller that goes and actually talks to the page. So that given that, we should write a function that takes in, I'm going to first just update this function. So when the view comes in, I want it to show this this messages, if you will, class. So I'm going to change this index that we have coming in. So let me just make sure we have, let's see, it's chat view. So I don't want it to be indexed. So we're going to completely blow that away. That won't be necessary. So I'll just leave that alone. And let's make one that actually is relevant to what we're doing. We name that chat view. So we'll have chat view will be the function, and then I want to take in, because I'm going to get the list of the chat bot, the messages back and forth, right? So I want to get a list of those. I want to make sure I keep track of those. And as you keep typing and Lex gives you back a response, we have those being tracked as the messages. So we need to create that. Let's go ahead and put a stub for that. We also need to have something that clears the bot. So when you're finished talking, because remember, you also can stop this at any time or whatever. You just want to clear it. You want to start over. So let's also make a function that we can have when you click the button that it'll actually clear the bot. So we'll do those two. Let's see, what else do we need here? We're going to test it, clear the bot. You know what? I'm gonna do something a little different here. I'm gonna actually make a function, and that its whole purpose is to get messages from back and forth to from Lex. And what this means is I'm gonna actually have one button will clear it, the other, once you hit return, we'll have it actually get the test, but get the messages, and then we'll have the default view that any messages that are already there, it'll show up. Okay, so with that, since I'm doing a sync, obviously I need to make a few changes with this one, because again, I'm going to be we'll call this, I don't know what to call this. How about, I don't know, process chat message, go chat message. I don't know. You guys tell me. Let's see. How about, I don't know, get, go, process chat message. I have no clue what to call this. We'll do process because I can't think of anything else right now that's really long, but hey. And then this will take in the actual text, the actual message that you send in here. So let's do that. So we'll have these three. How we're doing time? We're doing pretty good. 8 minutes. I've not wasted too much time. All right, so let's start with this. I'm gonna say the simple one, but it's not necessarily the simple one. But let's start with the one where we're gonna come in. Well, this is the sample one. Let's be clear. And all I'm gonna do is return the view, right? And so if I have messages in the view, messages in this list that's being passed to it, I just simply want that to return and process the messages. We'll show you the view again if you don't remember it. Remember, the view is taking this in as taking this list of this rewind, this list of chatbot messages, and it's processing through them. There is an enumeration that determines whether or not this message came from you or did it come from Lex. So as we have that, we'll have that one just return when you come in if there's messages already there. So you want to have that. So let's process the chat message now. We'll do the clear bot later because that's somewhat of an easier one. So the first thing I want to do here is for Lex, you have to have a unique ID for it to send, so it can track, okay, this is the person's talking to me, this is the session I'm talking, this is unique, this is what I respond back to, right? So you can have several browsers windows up, and let's say you want to order flowers for different things. Who knows? We want to make sure that this session is unique. And because of that, we're going to take advantage of the session ID. Let me scroll up so I can show you this really quickly so I won't get confusing. So I have a Lex user session here, and we want to take advantage of that Lex user session, and we want to do that because that's going to be where we're going to get our ID from. So with that, let me scroll back down. So Lex user session, we're going to get the session ID, and that'll make sure that this is completely unique when we're talking back and forth to Lex, that it knows that this is the one to use. So let's what did I call it? Lex user session. And we want to just assign this one the session, obviously the current session we're in. And then from that, I want to get the ID. So I need to declare a user ID here, which I don't have. So let me do that. And this will just be a string. So, oh no, I do have one. See, reading is fundamental. I do have a user session ID. I was going to make another one. So, user session ID, since I already have that. And we want to assign that then to the actual ID. So since I've already assigned that to the session, I just want the ID. So then we'll know that this unique web, so whether you open up multiple IE sessions, multiple Chrome sessions, multiple Firefox, it does not matter, that we'll make sure that this session is unique for this browser window that's open. Okay, so now that we have that, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm retrieving based upon this session, I want to retrieve the messages that you already have. We know that the web is stateless. Therefore, I know that I just can't naturally come back without doing something in the data be there. So we're going to take advantage, if you remember correctly, of the session extensions that we did before. So hopefully you remember we did a session extensions object that I can pretty much just, all I'm doing is serializing any object to JSON, so I can put it in as a string to the session object, and then I can serialize it back in. And it just makes it easier then, instead of trying to convert everything to strings or put an array in there. Who wants to do that? So if you remember correctly, we created this extension for the session object in previous ones where we can do that, right? So we're going to use that now because I want any type of messages that you've already had out there. Hey, I want to make sure that I'm taking advantage of that and getting that, if we're going to, do the right thing here, making sure that we're doing that. So let's do that. Okay, let me see. So I'll call this, did I call it chatbot messages? Yep, there it is. So we'll use that one, and we will get, if I could type, it's called Lex user, not. So we'll get information from this session, and I want to have it come back out, obviously, as my chatbot. Again, since we went to the trouble of creating that extension, we might as well use it. So I'm going to pass in then, I need my key. And I think, let's see, bot message key is what we're going to use. So I want to pass in the bot message key, and then from there get, the information that's stored based upon that key. All right. So let's do that. So I'm gonna pass in the key. That's what I'm going to use. And then in passing in that key, I want to either, if there's something there, I want to get the messages from there. If there's not, I want to create a new list that I'm going to share. So let's see. Trying to get some more real estate here and move some of my windows out the way. Let's get this to go down. That'll help. Voila, can see more. Okay, you probably can too. So let's see. So if this is null, when I get this out, so if I get this and it's null, I want to create a new one. Right? If it's let's see, if it's not null, what do I want to do? Can't think today. If it's not null, I just simply want to, I think that's good. If it's not null, it'll retrieve it. So there we go. Trying to think this through on the fly. Here we go. So we'll do that. And then for the session data, then I want to get so with Lex, maybe you don't understand this, so let me explain it. I may have processed some things with Lex, and what Lex will do is give me, based upon the session, some attributes that may have gotten back. So I said roses in my message. I have the thing with the messages, but maybe Lex went out and called or did an API call out to that boutique that who was giving us the flowers, and actually got our great price for the roses. Well, I want to make sure I'm storing all that and getting that. So what I should also do then is, for session data or session attributes that are coming back, I should also probably store that in my Lex user session. So given that, I should also get that out, either store or get that out as well. So we'll just have a dictionary of just strings, just, a key value pair there that will represent our attributes. And then we need a attributes key. So we're going to get that out based upon the key we store for that. So then if it doesn't exist, if it's null, of course, use that colon operator. We'll do string, which it was trying to tell me not to type, but of course I ignored it foolishly. All right, so we got that. How much are we doing on time? Okay, we're pretty good on time. So if we have messages there already, if there are things that are there, we're going to get the messages back out. So we make sure, even though this is stateless, we still have some type of stateful experience. If we have already processed different things and we have session attributes that have come back from Lex, we want to make sure those are represented as well, and we have those stored so we can send them back if needed. If there are no messages, we're just starting this. We just need to make sure that we just return the current view. There's no point in trying to process any messages if it's not there. So we want to get to the rest of this code I write if there's nothing there. Let's just make sure I put that. So if the string of the user message, like if you hit return, this is what we're trying to do here, and you put nothing in user message, I don't want to go through the rest of this code and try to have an error because it's blank and it's like I don't understand you and all the other stuff. So we're just gonna return back to the view. Our chat view is the name of our view, and then any chatbot messages that we have, we'll just pass those back if there are any out there. Let's see. Oops, I just realized what I didn't do. I need quotes around this to make that right. Okay, like that. Okay, so we got so if it's blank, just return back to what's there. Don't process anything. There's no point in giving the user an error just because they made a mistake and hit the return for no reason. It's nothing to process, so we don't need to go forward. But what if a valid message does exist? We got a message for Lex. What do we need to do there? So the first thing we probably should do is add that message to our list of messages. So again, we make sure we track that. So we're going to add that one first. And we're going to do a new chatbot message. So if you recall correctly from previous ones, we actually have a data model of chat messages. So a data model that is representative of chat message. So it's going to represent the message type, which is an enumeration that we have. That is either a Lex message or a user message. So in this case, if we're receiving a message in, it's a user message. We also have the actual message. So we want to actually have that message to save. And then this is not needed right now because we are not doing anything with it. So I'm not going to fill it out, but we will do something with it later when we do voice. So I just kind of put that in proactively, but just thinking through it, we'll have something from ID when it does voice. All right, so we got a message here from Lex. We're actually going to process that message because, hey, we need to process that message. So now I need to do something with my Lex. We actually need to send this now to Lex. So I need a function that is going to process this. Now, I'm going to put a placeholder here because I think I want to do something, but I won't know page first. I'll just make a note to myself, which is why when I open source code, I always have to take out the notes to myself. But, hey, I need them to keep thinking. So now, before I do that, let's just go ahead and write the code to call Lex with the text and get the message back. So I'm going to do a var here, and I'm going to clean that up. I'm doing var here, but I really should strongly type list, and I will. But I'm being lazy right now because I have limited time. So I'm going to do a wait because I know I need to call this with a a sync and await methodology because my function is awake. And here's my Lex service, if you recall correctly, and it's being passed in through dependency injection, so I know it's ready for me to use. So I'm going to actually call that. So my AWS Lex service, I have a function that says chat by text to Lex. So that's sending the message via text. With that, I need to pass in my user ID. So let's see, my user session ID, because again, I want this to be unique. I need to pass in my message. So the actual message that came across. And then if I'm doing this right, you'll see that I actually have this function is overloaded. One just allows you to send the session ID and the message. The other one allows you to send the session ID, the message, as well as the session attributes. So since I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing each time, I won't forego that. I'll send the session attributes still. And actually I did this backwards because I need to send the session attributes here. And then the message to send, since I changed that. All right, we have that. Any questions so far? You guys have been really super quiet. I have a error expected. That, oh, okay. I'm like, it is one. Nope, it's not. There. There. Do I have an extra one sitting here? No, I don't. I'll fix that in a minute. That's weird. Oh, no. Okay, it's gone. Don't know what that was. Anyway, so back to the subject at hand. Let's see. So we're going to send this. When this comes back, we want this response to, so this is going to give me a post text message, which is make to my note to myself before I publish this to you guys, strongly type this variable. Okay, we're gonna get data back. So the first thing I need to realize is when Lex sends data back, it may have updated my session attributes. So I should probably update this session attributes, the information of something different that's processed based upon my response. I should probably update that here. So so I can store that later. So session attributes, we're gonna update that. I probably got a response. I'm hoping I got a response back from Lex. So I probably should update my chatbot messages and add that response there as well. So similar to what we did before, I can almost copy this because copying and pasting is lovely. And let's paste that. And let's see. So instead of the message type being user message, now this message type is actually a Lex message. And I need to represent that differently, so I send it. Instead of this being the user message, I actually want the message that came back from Lex. So that Lex response, that post text Lex response, blah, 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 tongue twister, has a message. Okay, so now I have that added. We're good with that. And what I should do at this point, if I'm really doing the right things, because remember, we're dealing in a stateless environment, is I need to probably update my session to set this new list of chatbot messages so it's current, so that when I retrieve that, when I come back, that is actually there. So I should do that. So let's, where's my mouse? Okay, so let's do that. So user, what did I name this session that I keep forgetting? It's Lex user session. So Lex user session. Instead of a get this time, I want to set. The first one I want to set obviously is the list of chatbot message type. I want to set it so it's, it's going to serialize it as this type. So when I have it deserialized, it comes back as this type. I want to have this to be using my bot message key. So we'll do that. And then I need to actually take the chatbot message that we had, so that list. So we're going to store that one. Oh, gotta move a little faster, Tara. I'm typing a little slow today. And then I'll do the same thing with the session attributes. So again, dictionary type, it'll be key value pairs of strings. And let's see, we're going to store this with the bot attributes key. And for here, oh, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to do the Lex session data. That'll be our attributes. And with that, believe it or not, all I have to do at this point is then just return my view. I'm going to return my view to the chat view. If I could type, this would be pretty phenomenal. And what did I name this? Chat bot messages. And pretty much that is how we're going to process our chatbot. That is the code for that. That is what we need to do. Now that's great, but what we need to do at this point is update the view to associate with it. So before I do that, just gonna check in with you guys. Any questions? I feel like I've been talking to myself. You guys aren't talking to me out there, so I need you to talk back to me. Any questions about that? So like, I can know if you guys have questions before I continue on and update the view. Any questions? Anyone out there? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so I'll keep going if you guys don't have questions. I'm totally surprised. And it'll be even more phenomenal if this works the first time. You know how code works. You hope for the best, and we're gonna hope that it's working. So let's try. All right. So now that we have the view going, I'm glad you're looking. Where's the define bot message key? See, yes, before I go on. All right, so let me scroll up. So I have right now, I just have some defaults in here. Bot message key. You can, and so we define that in previous sessions. No worries, you can go back to see the other videos. But I defined that here is just a string of bot messages, and the attribute key is session key. Now, what you can do here versus just having some hard-coded thing, if you remember correctly, we actually have this app settings. So if you want, you can actually, really customize this coming through. Either you can put something here where dynamically based upon the bot, the attributes key or the session key gets defined differently. Or what could be even cooler is, if you recall correctly, what we're doing in our Lex service is we're using Cognito. And when someone logs in, obviously with using Cognito here, we've done something where if they log in, we have it where they can log in and we get a secure token, which is a temporary token, if they decide they don't want to log in with us. If they log in with us, however, what would be really cool for us to do, and maybe this is something we could do later, is actually take that Cognito ID, that authenticated ID of who they are, and put that as our key for our bot attributes key or our bot message key. So we have some options there. But bottom line is, what I'm doing right now is I'm just simply using that hard-coded key. But we define that up here. See, so bot message key, bot attributes key is there. Okay. With that, let's go ahead and update our view. So we haven't done ClearBot yet, but let's make sure our view is raring to go. So our view is here. You see that we have, where when the messages come in, it'll look different based upon if it's a Lex user message versus a Lex message. But what we see we don't have here as of yet is we don't have any code to say um, process the message. I have where, it'll scroll if I have the conversation, but we have no form or anything here at this point because we weren't there yet to do anything around actually getting the message. So let's create a form here. And I don't want to do that. Let's create a form. So just again, using normal ASP nomenclature. And okay, so I love using. Let me tell you why. Because I like using, that sounds funny. But because anytime I use this, if I have an object that needs to be disposed, it does it the right way. Here it's not as relevant because I'm using, ASP.NET here, but this is just kind of a side note. It's one of my favorite things. You can make sure that your code is disposed. You're doing a great job of cleaning up memory or resources. Just, I don't know, my favorite thing. Maybe coming from a C++ background when you used to have to do all that yourself. Just being able to say, put things in a using block and stuff goes away makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I don't know. Not as relevant with what we're doing here, but it just reminded me to say, I just love that. That is just the best thing since sliced bread to me, that I can just do that. All right. So I'm gonna begin a form here. I want to process something. So I'm gonna begin a form. And there's something else I need to do in my controller that I haven't done yet, but I'll do it in a minute. So I want to, what did I name that function? Because I think that obviously this is the one I want to call. So in my controller, I said it was going to be process chat message. See, I can't even remember my own stuff. So I'm going to use the most wonderful tool in the world for coding. It's called cut and paste. And I'm going to paste that name. So I want it to, the form, when it submits, is going to submit to that function in my controller. It is going to, obviously, the name, the name of my controller, my group. Where's my mouse? So I can show this. Is Let's Chatbot. So I want to make sure that it knows that that's where it should be looking for a controller that's called Let's Chatbot. If I could type today, I would be fantastic. I want this to post via, so I'm going to put a form method here, and I want this to post via post. Yeah, I'm raring to go. And I want to add those attributes where I want to add a class tag, and I want that class tag to have the form process in line. So it's just, you could put this all in here as well, but since I'm doing it this way, it's easier just, and the right way, quite frankly, to add, a dictionary of the type of attributes you want for your form. So that's where that came in there. Great. So now that we've done that, let's put some stuff here so we can process. So we have a div class we're going to put in. And obviously I want this, and I'm using Bootstrap. If you followed along from the previous ones, you kind of know that I'm using Bootstrap to make this quote unquote look pretty. So I'm going to use their classes there. So I'll just put a div, and I want obviously an input. And the class here I'm going to do is going to be a form control, because I want this input to actually, when you hit the text box input, I want it to actually process the form. We're going to name this what's going to come across. Now, you guys already know this, of course, but I need to make sure this name matches what I have in my controller. And why is that? Because that way I don't have to set anything. Once it hits process chat message and it sees the same name, it would automatically send this to this function. So I use the trusty copy and paste again, and I will add this into my view. User message, great. I want this to be type of text, obviously, because you guys would be, or someone will be typing text. I'm going to put a placeholder here, and the reason I am is because, just being user savvy, people don't always think about what to put there, and so I want to make sure that I'm actually, saying what you do here. So enter your, chat request, chat message. Yeah, we'll put that. That sounds good enough. And I want to style this a little bit, so that it looks right. The trick is, quite frankly, me and styling is interesting. But I do know at least want to have it focus to the left because that's where they're going to type. So I need to do that. Um, Make sure the width is good. This is going to be truly me winging it here. So I do know at least I want to float that's the left. That's at least I know that much. We'll go with that. The rest of this will be very interesting for me to try to do. Um, I'm not using ReSharper in this one. I love ReSharper though. Um, I won't say a lot about ReSharper today, but I will tell you I think it's definitely gotten better in the latter versions of 2017. That's all I'll say. It was a little memory intensive when it first came out for 2017 for me. But I love ReSharper. Love ReSharper, but I'm not using that today. Just using IntelliSense and just kind of going for broke. But that is a I would advise anyone just for a good coding practice. I love ReSharper, and like I said, it was a little for me, for Tara. It's totally Tara opinion, no one else's. That it was just a little bit slow in the initial releases, but it's great now. Let me give this a height. I have no clue what to give it the height for. I'm gonna do 40 because I think I don't know. We'll just say 40 pixels, and that's all I can think about. Oh, I do need to do one thing before I forget. I always forget this, and then things come out bad. So you know how you learn from making mistakes. I have learned from them. Let me make sure this is out front. So I have learned when doing. I have goofed this up so many times where I did not put the thing that I wanted focused there. So I think I'm good with styles. I'm proud of myself. For me, that's huge to put that much of a style. I struggle with the whole UI making it pretty. Something else that I want to put, and this is actually from feedback from you guys when I built another version of this earlier this year. Everyone kept saying we really hate that we have to actually put our mouse back on the text box. So since we're coding this live, let me fix that live. I'll put autofocus there so that it won't have to, when the page renders, it'll focus to that. Um, I'm gonna do a clear. We need to have a button to clear, and so that needs to also process. So I should probably put a button here to do this. And the easiest way to do a button here, since I have that actually processed in the form, is making this an action tag. And you can do it. You can have. There's a way. I won't say it as a hack, but there is a way to have multiple buttons or things to submit the form. But I'm gonna take the easy way because I'm coding on the fly here. And so let me see. I need to find one of those pretty button things. I don't know. We'll just do default because I can't think about. Don't you have to do this? I think. Okay, so yeah, any button. We'll do that look from. This is straight bootstrap. I want this obviously to play the role of a button. So button. This will be our. So So I think I named that function ClearBot. It would make sense that I named it that. Let's hope I did. Yep, I did, even though there's nothing there yet. But okay, at least I'm consistent with names. It'll play the role of a button. I probably need to style it for something. Make it a different color so it shows up. Which here I go with me trying to style something. Which again, you guys should be very afraid. I'll just do a background color here. La la la. And let's see what else. What do I want it to look like? Here's me struggling with UI. Let's see. I will do. This is me really struggling with the UI. I don't know. Let's put a background color of. I guess you guys pick the color. I don't know. Green, blue, something. Let's see. Um, what color do I like today? No, I am not choosing the color. I won't comment. That'll be too funny. Cornflower blue. I Our page, I think, looks, it's almost a little greenish. So it's either aquamarine or that cadet blue, I think. Um, I'll pick. You guys tell me. It doesn't matter. I totally suck when it comes to UI. So whatever you guys say, I will do. I'm not the best UI person. By the way, for I guess the better that be similar, exclude the front end part. Explain what you mean fresh grade. By the way, for web API, I guess the bot we explain your question because I'm not sure what you are saying there, just to make sure I don't say or ask the wrong thing. And resharper cost, yes, if unless you're a student. So this is the benefit of being crazy and being in grad school. Resharper and JetBrains for students is great. Women, why picking a? You know what? Just because you said that, I'm picking that one. Just because you said that, I think that looks like the color that that is coming up. Women picking a color that is just not right. I want this since I have the button, the text going to the left. I need this button to be all the way to the right, so I know at least I need to put float right here. Let's see, style background blue. This is in the wrong place. It should be there. We'll do a float right, a little bit over today, but we're gonna go with it. And I'll probably have to fix the margins of that for it to look right from a UI perspective. But just know that yeah, me and colors are interesting. So the button color will be blue. Or the background color, we'll make it blue and white. just cause me trying to make it look right. And this is going to be the extent of me trying to make it look somewhat normal, because again, my challenge there, we're probably going to have, we probably will have to make this look a whole lot better. Obviously, I want the button just to say clear, because I can't think of anything else right now. Clear message, start over, reset. We'll just use clear because the thing is clear. All right. Let's see. I think we're good. The only other thing, let me save this because this will be horrible for me to lose this right now. The only other thing that we need to complete our bot is to make sure, and I kind of did this already, but just to make sure you guys remember this, the only other thing we need to do is make sure Alex service is included in our startup, because obviously we're using DI. We're using the DI that is included with ASP.NET. So in using that wonderful DI, I used to use AutoFact a lot, but in using that wonderful now built-in DI, we want to make sure it's there, and with that, we should be good to go. So I'm going to hit compile. Inexplicably, you know how this works. We're coding live. I'm sure I forgot something. There's going to be some bug, but we're going to cross our fingers. We're going to save everything. Saving. So let's see, looking on my screen, we're hitting save. We're going to build and see what possibly I did wrong. Let's see. So, let's see what the output says. So far, it doesn't look too bad, which will be totally crazy. Okay, yeah, because it's just started. That's why. I was like, so far so good, but I told you I was gonna have something. Because we didn't put anything for ClearBot. I told you. Live coding, you're gonna forget something. So we need to clear the bot. Let's think about this really quickly. So if I clear the bot, there's a couple of things I need to do. The first thing I need to do is I need to make sure that I clear out my session info, right? Because, I'm using my session blah, blah, info to be stateful. So I should probably clear out that. So user session, I should probably clear that out. What else should I do here if I think about it? So I'm going to clear out my user session, which that means when I go back in the in the when I go back in the what? When I go back into the bot, I will have the user session cleared. It should then not show any messages. It should pull down an empty message, and that should be how that goes. Don't you think? Okay. So if that's the case, then let's do that. I'm trying to just think it through really quickly. We're clearing the bot. We got to clear the session. Yeah. So let's do that. So my user session, this is kind of redundant, but because I don't know where this is going to come in, I need to make sure that this is set. So we're going to just put it in as a making sure, and I'll walk through it in my head to whatever. So the first thing I want to do is, oh, this is really cool. And some stuff is coming back from, really just doing stuff. But what I like about using clear here versus remove is clear will then clear any session keys, any session information that's stored, but it will not remove the session ID. So let's say you messed up and you were chatting and you said something wrong, you want to clear and you want to start over. It'll start all of this stuff over or whatever, but it won't remove the session ID, which is great because then I can keep that same session ID and go forward and, do everything else if I messed up and keep talking to Lex with, certain things. But I like that I don't have to, I can just trash the keys and still have the session ID. Oh, I'm totally way over time. So let me just finish this really quickly and we will be good with our bot. So let's see, bot, my messages. What did I call them? Chatbot messages. That's the list. I've cleared that. I should just, let's just, make this easy. Let's just make a new one. It's cleared. Make a new one. It'll be saved back when you process it'll save back to the dictionary anyway. I mean back to the session ID anyway. And then for our session data, let's just do the same thing. Let's just make a new one. Now, of course, you could do this differently, but let's just make a new one. And since we're making a new one, we've cleared everything out. I'll just store that new one, that blank one in my session ID, right? I'll just set it so that when we come back in, since we cleared, we have that already ready for me and it won't be null and I won't have to create it in subsequent functions. And I think that'll be it. So same thing, I'll store it with that bot message key. We talked about that. I'm storing the bot messages. And Lex user set. So overtime today. I'm so sorry. But I want to finish this so that when we get to deploy it tomorrow, you're actually deploying something that works, which is usually good to do. Deploying things that actually work versus buggy things. So attributes key, and then that Lex session data. And that should remove my error. Now, again, I told you my favorite thing just from me, and even the way we wrote this Lex service, you notice that I made sure that I inherited from the iDisposable interface because I want to make sure that I dispose of this Lex service object and anything therein. So obviously when we wrote this service, I put that in. I told you it's from the old days when I used to have to do this myself. So I'm probably much more of a stickler about it than most people. But once you've gone through some pain, you learn from your pain. So I'm going to go ahead and, because I'm clearing the bot, starting over, I'm going to go to clear all of those service resources because we're starting from scratch. Because I know you're probably wondering if she's keeping that session ID, won't it look at what we've already done? No, we're clearing all that out. We're starting from scratch. And then I'm going to just then return to the chat view. And then I'll return that chatbot messages there. And I think we're good. And let's see, we'll save this. And we're done. I will look at, where is my mouse? It like disappears. It's kind of weird. Okay, save. I think we're done, actually. Let's look at this view one more time. Make sure our model is correct. We have everything there. But I think we're ready to have a functioning bot. Of course, as I noted, this code will be out there and available I'm going to put it out there today. So you will, yep, IEnumerable. We're going to take that in. Because I'm doing a custom layout, I'm setting that default layout to null. View data title is like Chatbot. I think we're raring to go. We're going to compile this and hopefully see. But since I'm way over time, and I mean way over time, I'm sure everyone is really fussing at me. The one thing we do need to change is right now our default controller is home. So that won't work at all. And our action is index, which is, yeah, not what we want. Because if we're, doing this controller, how am I doing, how will this ever be called? It won't be. So let's see. Our default is Lex Chatbot. So instead of our controller being home, it is going to be Let's Chatbot, right? And then our action, instead of being index, because we changed this, remember, in our controller, we want them to come in first at chat view, right? So we're going to change that instead of being home. And obviously within index, we want it to come into chat view. So I'm glad I looked at that. Just always make sure. So we won't have the default one in. So chat typing is key. View. I'm telling you, I'll be so phenomenal if I could type. And I think that's it. I think that actually now will actually run the bot versus the default ASP.NET. We're going to build this one more time and take your questions, and we're going to be done because I'm so over time, and I'm glad that you guys stayed with me. All right, so what are you guys saying over here? Oh my God, Tara, I'm... Are they heading live chat support for AWS? Hey, who knows? You maybe give us a good idea or build something for it. I'm fine as long as I'm not going into a robot. I'll still be here. Anything else with this? We succeeded. It's a build. It's a miracle. Oh my God. Okay, we succeeded. It's totally cool. I can't believe we actually succeeded. But we're out of time. I'm gonna run this while I'm taking your questions, and we'll end. But tomorrow, same time, same bat station. Yes, I'm showing my age. We are going to actually deploy this bot. We're going to have a special guest, one of a good friend and coworker that's going to come on, and we're going to show you how to build a CI/CD pipeline to deploy this bot to EC2 on Windows. So stay tuned. We are not finished yet. We got to deploy this baby so you can see it working. I'm going to put this code out there. I will tweet out, like I always do, the GitHub link just in case you don't remember it from other videos. Going to tweet that GitHub link out with the code. So, any questions from me before we end? Before I do, need to do one more thing that's the right thing to do. If you, because Nikki said, are you looking for .NET support? You guys may not be looking for support, but let me just kind of tell you this out there. We have a Slack channel that Nikki is very active in for .NET developers, for AWS developers. So if you're interested, Nikki can put the link to it. Join our Slack channel, and you can ask us questions about .NET on AWS and what I did here, or other, building something serverless with .NET. Whatever you want to ask us, we can answer. And that's pretty much it for today. I can't believe we built on the first try. I just figure out when we run this, it's totally not gonna work the first time because it's code. But again, who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. So no questions from you guys. You guys are super quiet. Super quiet. No questions at all. None. Okay. Well, with that, join us tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going 11 Pacific Time, and we're going to actually deploy this baby to EC2. I'm really excited to build the CI/CD pipeline. Another one of my favorite things to do. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for hanging in there with me, even though we ran a little long. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.